discipline. Is it a dirty word? A word you don't like? That's exactly what we're talking about today on Mindful Manifesting. You're listening to Ariana Rollins. So we're really continuing the conversation with episode last week, 36, on financial freedom. Okay, before we get into that, if you would like to kickstart your manifesting journey or deepen it and make it more automatic, I invite you to get Kickstart Your Manifesting Journey, and you can pick it up for free at mindfulachiever.com. Okay, so there is an expression in one of my morning readings. I read Spiritual Matters, spiritual book every morning. Kind of sets the tone for the day for me. It's part of my miracle morning. I do meditation, take the dog for a walk, yoga, or lift weights, and I read. I am ever so aware of the different foods that I give my body. Now, this is going to go a little out there if you've not heard of this before. We often focus on physical food or water, but there are other foods that we are consuming all the time. The thoughts we're thinking is a type of food. The air we breathe is a type of food, without which we don't survive. Even the thoughts, if we don't have that electrical impulse, well, they say that we're brain dead, right? So if you think of thinking as a food, the kind of food that you are bringing in, the learning that you're doing, the television, the movies, the what's on social media, is it nourishing? Is it alive for you? Or is it, dead matter, just shared nonsense? There's a lot of that, right, on Facebook. So the 4 foods, so nourishing my mind, my lungs, my body, and making sure everything works is important to me, because I know without this vehicle, without this body and good well-being, I don't have freedom. So, a lot of people, and you may have observed this possibly in your parents or grandparents, or maybe even you, that there's this common knowledge, or I won't even say knowledge. That's no, it's not knowledge. Common belief. Yes, my friends, common belief that as you age, your body breaks down. So you get aches and pains, and you can't work out as much. Your sleep gets disturbed because you have to get up and go pee 2 or 3 times a night. And those things are unfortunately accepted. I don't know. For me, I feel very grateful because when I turned 40, I decided not to accept the status quo, and I did everything I could. I think it was inspired because my son had a nut allergy, and I was determined to find natural alternatives to support his body, because he was like a little boy in a bubble at, 3 years old when he had the life changing and possibly death experiencing allergy to a macadamia nut. And I think that was my wake up, is that we can choose how our body feels. We can choose the food we take into our body. We can choose the thoughts, the movies, the books we read. We can choose. Do they have an impact? I believe more and more they do. They can affect my emotions. I watch a movie that's dark, or, it doesn't represent my values, and there's a lot of stealing and murder and, taking advantage and manipulation. And I don't feel good. I feel like yucky at the end of it. I know, I'm weird. I've always been weird. A little bit too sensitive, some might say. But I think I'd prefer to be sensitive and be aware of these foods and what I'm taking into my body than not. So discipline makes the freedom. Discipline makes the freedom. So if we go back to the example of food. So most of us eat out of habit. It's just what we're used to eating. We have maybe 5 or 10 meals that we just keep repeating. I've done this. And that a lot of times it comes from our childhood upbringing, the food we eat. And maybe you've not thought, is this good for my body? It's just become a habit, a routine. It's something that we don't think about. And so maybe this episode is going to be think about. Think about habits, think about routines, and are they serving your freedom? Are they giving you the freedom you want? So if we go back to health freedom, you've got a grace when you're in your younger years. People don't start to notice things until their 40s. For me, I didn't start noticing things until I was in my 60s. Now, I guess I'm blessed because a lot of people have a lot of pain and all those, things don't heal as fast when they're 40. But I guess I was graced because I didn't have to pay attention to things. Literally, I was pain-free until last year, where I dropped something on my foot when I was moving and most incredible pain. But the damage by wearing the foot boot, it caused my whole spinal system, my knees, my hips, everything was astounding. I don't know why I bought into that boot and thought I needed it. Anyway, we use a crutch. We use something to support us, not realizing that it's not natural and that it throws our whole system out of whack. We could even think about that as pharmaceutical drugs. They can give us relief. I've taken them before. But ongoingly, as a routine, like we would take a supplement, a multivitamin, it could be considered a crutch because we're now not addressing the body and getting it into well-being and balance. Maybe you have a belief you can't. I've never bought into that belief. I don't know why, just maybe wired that way. So discipline makes the freedom. If you are starting to have some blood pressure issues, you're starting to have blood sugar issues, what's the first thing that you would do? For most people, we're going to go to the doctor, get a checkup. Good idea. But then, what's the next step? Take the prescription? Or look at environment, routines, and habits. What could you change? Some people do that. Some people say, nope, not going that way. Not going to be taking pills. Nope. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Hear the word again, that dirty word, discipline. Because the solution, the consequence, if I don't, means I go down my family's genetic health history. And boy, does my family have some unfortunate genetic health history. So having that consciousness awareness, would you say that it gives you freedom? Freedom to have a healthy, comfortable body, freedom to sleep through the night. You don't have to wake up peeing, freedom to travel, freedom to walk 5 miles in great comfort, freedom to run, freedom to ride a bike. Is freedom important to you? Oh my gosh, it is. For me, it is. So in episode 136, I was talking about financial freedom. And I got some really good feedback on that. People really like that one because that's something I think most of us can embrace. Who doesn't want more money? Who doesn't want more good health? And what happens, though, is that the good health part, we don't realize that that's what we want until it's gone. I think money is just a common pursuit since we were 2 years old and we get a quarter for our allowance. Money is something we could always have more of. But about health, can we always have more of that? Usually we have the wake-up call when we've lost it. But my friends, what happens is it's a snowball. It's all the little choices we make in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. The discipline makes the freedom, the health freedom. The discipline makes the health freedom. There's no question, no doubt. I watched my son. He was raised as a vegetarian until he was 4 years old, and his father was a meat eater, heavy meat eater. And so I had won the argument for 4 years, but after that, it was like, nope, no holds barred. And my son developed a very heavy appetite for meat. Nothing wrong with meat. I have chicken, I have fish, but I discern what I'm going to eat and how much in a week. I would say I'm probably 3/4 vegetarian, maybe. Yeah, 60%. So does that help contribute to good health? I don't know. Do your research. Discipline. Discipline makes the freedom. Discipline makes the freedom. Yeah. Exercise. Does that free you to have a comfortable body? I think so. Meditation. Does that free you from having worries and stress? I think so. Let's bring back, because this is a podcast on manifesting, let's bring back discipline and manifesting. Kind of doesn't seem like it goes hand in hand, does it? Oh, but it does, my friends. It does. Discipline and manifesting. Why would I say that? Well, in what I teach in the Highest Potential program, there are exercises that the students learn. They learn how to define a clearly desirable and achievable objective. Now you're saying, well, that doesn't sound like manifesting. It sounds like SMART goals, but not really. Because how I see manifesting is that we're handing over to something else to help us achieve it. We're handing over to something else to achieve it, which is hand it over to the universe, hand it over to your unconscious mind, hand it over to God, hand it over to the vortex, hand it over to all sorts of different, the quantum field, source. There's all sorts of names, right? So with manifesting, I see the difference between setting goals and manifesting is you're handing over. You're letting go of control. You're not breaking down when I do this first, then I do that, and then I do that. Now, that can work for a lot of people. For me, I'm a freedom lover. I've been that since I was a child, probably because I happen to have the human design profile as a manifester. They love freedom. Love freedom. They don't like to be controlled. So manifesting and freedom. When you learn a system, when you learn how to get clear on what the right timing is for you to work on at this time, manifest, achieve, accomplish, then it's like planting a garden in May. You're going to have a great harvest in September versus planting a garden in January and it's bitter cold out there. And you're going out there and you're putting the seeds in there. You're nourishing the soil. You're giving it fertilizer and water. And then it sprouts because you had a warm day. And you think, oh, I've done it. It's happening. I'm manifesting my garden. Or growing my garden, let's say. And then there's a cold snap. And in the night, it gets down to 30 degrees. And your garden dies. So there is timing for things. There's not a lot of talk about that in the manifesting. Surely not a lot of talk about it in SMART goals. But that's what sets the work I do apart from everything else. Is it the right timing? Is it? Is it what is most desirable for you right now? Discipline. Discipline. Learning a system and working it. I mean, yes, we can manifest all the time. We can have synchronistic moments. Absolutely. But my wondering is, did we plant a seed that we are now harvesting because now the timing's right? I think so. I think so when we manifest. I think there's a part of us that if we can keep a focus on that deeply desirable objective and we maintain that vision and we're checking in, looking for messages. Anything I need to do today to further my objective? Any messages for me? Is there any resistance? Do I have any blockers coming up? Discipline makes the freedom. Yes, even in manifesting. So does it take time to learn a system? Absolutely. Is it worthwhile? 100%, 1,000%, absolutely yes. Because then what happens is you can turn your manifesting on autopilot because you're so clear on what it is you want, by when, and you're just a responder to life. You're taking action on that which floats by the river. Yep, that's a piece of the puzzle here. Great. but then you're ignoring the rest. I've talked before, I can't remember which episode I went into detail on reticular activating system. I think that's also what is kind of unique in the work that I teach, is that you learn how to program your reticular activating system to pay attention to that which will serve your deepest desire, to that which will serve you in accomplishing your intention, in manifesting your desire. So it's a unique body of work. There's nothing out there like that. And discipline makes the freedom. Discipline makes the success. Discipline makes life good. It's like, the merry-go-round. Think about it. You go to a merry-go-round, there's discipline in the mechanics, making sure that the machine's oiled, that it's going to work. Discipline serves us in so many ways. And one of the last things I'd like to share in this episode is I'm kind of a word nerd sometimes. Friends know I do this a lot. We'll have a conversation, I'll get an insight, and I'll say a word, and I'm like, I don't know what that word means. But it feels like it's the right word. And then my friend and I will look it up, the dictionary. The word was spectacular. It's like perfect. It defined everything. So discipline makes the freedom. So, gosh, I lost my train of thought talking about words. Oh my goodness. So funny now. Okay, it'll come back once I finish the episode. Then maybe that will be the starter spark for the next episode. All right, so yes, we're going to have to wrap up because I didn't write any script down and I completely forgot that thought. So if you would like to kickstart your manifesting, now I'm going to switch gears. I think you should come to Kickstart Your Dream Retreat. I run it once a year, and we're doing it in February 23rd. Once a year, investment's only $50 if you sign up early, and you get 3 hours with me. I'm incredibly intuitive. I can help you see things that you haven't seen and chart a path to your successful manifesting. I'll put the link in the show notes. And as we wrap up, remember, as you confirm yourself, you chart your own path to success. So much love, many blessings. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.